I'm Kara, and welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. I believe that all of us possess unique gifts and talents that allow us to serve the world and our own growth in the highest possible way. Our lives are an expression of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And here, we will explore businesses, thought leaders, and topics designed to inspire, helping propel your own growth so you can live your best and most purposeful life. Welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. Welcome back to the Soul Inspiring Business podcast. I'm your host, Kara, and today it's a solo show, but I am showing up for you. And what I mean by that is I know if you've been listening for a while, you know that I've been super passionate about bringing great guests on the show and also doing solo shows, but have been a little inconsistent in the frequency. And one of the things that I'm really committing to moving forward is to show up on a more consistent basis for you. So I'm committing to a weekly cadence. And now that I'm saying it aloud, I need to make it happen. But a weekly cadence of whether it's a shorter show and just showing up with something that's working well for me and that I'd love to share with you, or whether it's bringing in awesome guests. A lot of the guests, people will ask, well, how do you choose guests? Really, I am fascinated in people and their stories. And a lot of the guests that I bring on are also people that I want to learn from and learn their stories. And if I think it could be helpful to others, then I love inviting those people on. So going forward, you'll notice there'll be a more frequent cadence. So I hope, my goal really, and I've kind of been off course, honestly, for, I would say, the last, year or two, and have really been coming back to my own groundedness, which I'm realizing the things that I want to prioritize, and this show and being here with you and being able to show up and make a difference is definitely one of them. So if you have any specific guest ideas or any particular topics you'd love to know more about, always DM me. Probably that's the easiest way to find me is on Instagram at Kara Chaffin Donofrio. But anyway, that's where we are. And today we are talking all about manifesting walks. This is a short show, but I wanted to share with you this practice that I use. It's been extremely powerful for me. And I call it a manifesting walk, some people look at me sideways like, what does that mean? And what is a manifesting walk? So I figured I would do a short show just to tell you a little bit about it. And also specifically, I think what you can do to bring more intention to it. But personally, for me, what I've experienced in incorporating these types of walks in my own, into my own routine is that I've noticed I'm able to call in things more quickly. So desires, goals, dreams, it's a place where I get ideas, but all of it, it's, especially with desires and goals, when we talk about manifesting, when I think about to manifest, it means to make, to manifest, to bring something into your field, right? To manifest a money goal, that you're making that money goal happen. And what I've noticed is that things happen more quickly for me, especially when I'm really locked into this type of routine in my day. And so of course I want to share it with you because I want you to be able to have these benefits as well. So manifesting walk, and I'm sorry, I think you may have heard my kids in the background. If you didn't, great. But what is a manifesting walk? Well, first of all, it was a term that was coined by my business coach, Jen Cudmore, one of my business coaches. And she her background is in kinesiology. So naturally, I think just walking and movement is sort of part of what really has worked well for her. But really what a manifesting walk is it's really just a walk. It's moving your energy. It's going on a walk. And I think that there are a few things that I would say make it more of a manifesting walk versus just a regular walk. And we'll talk about some of those things that you can do that are going to, that I've found have made it especially powerful and for me. But I think one of the things is, why a manifesting walk? Like, what does it actually do? And again, as I just mentioned, what I've found is that, especially going on a walk in nature, nature is by design filled with sacred geometry, and just really, if you think about the intelligence of nature, it doesn't need to set a goal for anything. It just is. The flowers grow, the trees bloom, and they do so in this perfect way and synchronicity of working together. And so when you're walking in nature, I think that there is a part of ourselves, because I believe that there's a part of us that's in the physical world, and there's also this part of us that's also in the spiritual world. And when we can really merge those two is when we have the potential to have more impact, to have um, our actions will go further when we're able to kind of merge these two worlds. So for me, does a manifesting walk work? I really don't know. All I know is it, for me, has. And I think that part of it is because, number one, especially when you can do a walk in nature, you are surrounded by intelligence all around you. And so there's that to it. And then I also think that there's a lot that comes from just moving our bodies and unsticking energy, because energy can kind of get stuck in certain places. And so when we're moving and conscious about sort of releasing what is maybe weighing us down, and having that as an intention, I think that there's power in that too. And so here are the things that I have done. And one of the things I'll share with you, and I'm not going to share the money goal, but I will share with you that earlier this year, I just was really freaked out about money, quite frankly. And it's sort of a trigger for me overall in life. I know it is for a lot of people, of like not having enough, or especially being in a commissioned role or as an entrepreneur. Sometimes sales are slow and sometimes they're great, and so it's managing the valleys in those, and managing our own emotions that go with those valleys. But I then put in place and I realized that I was kind of had stepped away from some of the practices that keep me grounded, that keep me whole, and quite frankly, again, that draw the things that I desire closer to me. So I decided to go back to my manifesting walk. And I was manifesting some pretty big goals, quite frankly, ones that I had never reached before. And then they, like within a month or two, things started happening. It was really amazing. So I don't know that all of that is going to happen in the same way for you, but I'll give you some of the things that I do when I go on these walks, as a way of helping you find your own rhythm and finding your own way of having them work for you. So the first is, when I go on this walk, it is with intention. And what I mean by that is, there may be something I'm trying to release. And so the intention really is, I may say a prayer before I go out and go on a walk. And it might be as simple as, help me release whatever this is. Or maybe I'm stuck on a particular business idea and I'm not sure what to do. So I'll literally call out, help me, God help me with this, right? And so I'll kind of walk with that intention. And so that's kind of one way that I think that we can use this as a tool. And you've heard me talk a lot about this on the podcast, but it's asking the question and then waiting for the answer. And I believe that when we are in motion, and when we've asked, we always receive. We just may not know exactly, the timing of that. And sometimes we may get an answer. We don't believe that it is the answer. So there's an element of trust in there too. But sometimes it's walking with an intention. The other times that, the other thing that I love doing is walking with certain affirmations. So I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but one of the apps that I really love, don't get anything from them, but it's called Think Up. It's one of my favorite apps. And whenever I need a boost, I love listening to it. And what it is it's an app that you can record affirmations in your own voice, and then it just replays them back to you. There's a background music that you can turn off or on that goes with it, and it's sort of like a uh, meditative walk with using affirmations that are in your own voice. And I think all of our voices carry certain soul codes and parts that are unique to you, so it can be really powerful to hear the what it is that you're desiring to be stated in your own voice. So that's another way that I've used these manifesting walks, is just walking, listening to affirmations that are recorded by me. I think with that app, it is a paid app, but it's not very expensive. I want to say it's 25 or 30 a year. Or there is a free one, but you only have 5 affirmations that go with it. So a lot of times I'll put in, if you've been listening for a while, you know I love affirmations. And I think it's a good way to get you energetically into a different mindset, a different, and sometimes just a different energy, right? So it is a lot of times your belief system around those affirmations that you're doing. So my trick on affirmations is, for example, if you're going towards a certain money goal, but it feels totally unbelievable to say, I am, attracting in 100,000 per month, right? If that feels just completely crazy to you, then I would say I am on my way to attracting in $100,000 per month, all in God's time, or something along those lines. Or maybe you do a smaller one that feels more believable and build up to that large goal. So there has to be an element of believability. And so there are ways to word that affirmation in a way where it's more believable. Okay. So that's, so another way is going on, again, listening to affirmations as you're walking, I think is super powerful. The other way is a lot of times I actually just found this and I found it really helpful, but there's an app called Sacred Acoustics. It's known for energetic frequencies in the music and in the meditative, and they're actually frequencies that are designed to get you to certain states of being. So Sacred Acoustics is one that has some really great sound healing type things. Even on YouTube, there are sound bowls and things like that that are musics and tones that can get you into a different kind of energetic frequency or state. And those I've found sometimes just listening to them, the free ones on YouTube while you're walking, can be super powerful. The other thing is no music at all, no, just being in nature. And then lastly, a lot of times I'll listen to a particular podcast, maybe this one, or something that's going to get me, that I feel called to, that's going to get me into a different frequency. But I think that recognizing that the ones that I've found more powerful are when it's a time for me, not necessarily having a lot of outside noise, but where I can really get super intentional. And when you're intentional in that walk, when you're intentional about maybe an idea that you want to have, or you're kind of using that as an opportunity to just, I would say, come home to yourself. There is so much power in it. And again, whenever I do this consistently, I notice that anything that I desire and that I'm calling in comes in way quicker. I mean, it could be like next day I get a phone call that is just, I'm like, how did this happen so quickly? Well, I believe that it is in all the preparation that we're doing from, any energy is everything. And so it is making sure that, we've got one step in the physical, one step in the spiritual, and we're sort of allowing things to flow and then taking inspired action on the right things. So the more in tune you are with what that feels like to get the inspired action, the inspired guidance, the better. And I think another way to kind of look at this is that I think we're kind of living in uh, there's the 3D and the 5D world. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. And I know that if you follow Jen Cudmore in any of her work, you'll hear her talk about this as well. But, there's an element of, well, we know the strategies, right? And somebody can follow all the strategies and still maybe they get to the goal, but is it sustainable? Is it something that they're sacrificing their family and other things to get there, right? I believe that when we're kind of in this world of conscious creation, of figuring out what it is that we really want to create. And in my case, like I want to really create an amazing business, but I also want to do it in a way that feels joyful, that feels easier, that I'm able to spend time with my family and my friends. And so it is it's a more pleasurable path to business. And so it's not to say that you couldn't get there with some type of strategy, but if you're just ticking the box and you're not listening to the clues of your own guidance system telling you how to get there, you may be taking a harder path than you need to. And again, I think these manifesting walks, if they've been coined by Jen, are a way of one other tool of getting in touch with your own guidance, with nature, and with all that is trying to help you create what you want to create, but doing it in a way that is easier, where you can attract more things into being. It doesn't have to be all hustle, and it doesn't have to be all flow. And everything is, attracting in, but it's a balance of these two. And I think that's where, again, you can create an incredible business, and you can also do it in a way that feels pleasurable and joyful and easier. Doesn't mean every day is going to be easy, but it means that the journey is an easier journey when you're doing it with support and guidance and help. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Quick, easy. I hope you loved it. And I'll be back next week. All right. Until next time. Loved being here with you today and would love to connect with you more over on Instagram. My handle is linked to the show notes, or you can just type in @Chaffin Donofrio. And I have something special for you as a free gift, my Dynamic Life Journal. This special book has the power to really help you live a soul-inspired life. Go to freegiftfromkara.com. Easy to remember, freegiftfromkara.com. Until next time, beautiful people, sending all my love.